I want to show you what I believe is probably the most underrated vacuum cleaner available today. These Sanitaire vacuums deliver unrivaled dependability. They offer great power, and the one big factor that they have that very few other vacuums have is the ability to repair and replace any of the parts that go bad. This particular vacuum is used in our janitorial accounts, and it's about 6 years old. And as far as any maintenance on this, other than changing out the bags and changing the belts, I've had to replace the fan one time, and that is all the maintenance that I've done. And this vacuum has got hauled around to many job sites. It gets beat around. As you can see, it has a good bit of wear on it, but yet it just keeps going. And it is time to do a little maintenance on it, and I'm going to do that on the video to show you exactly how easy it is. But any vacuum that you're able to actually get parts for and be able to replace and be so inexpensive as these are, it's really something that you might want to look into. These vacuums are sold under a variety of names. Most popular are the Sanitaire brand, but they also are branded as Electrolux, Eureka, Powerflight, and several others. But they're all basically the same vacuum. They may have minor cosmetic differences, but other than that, they're the same vacuum. And this style of vacuum has been around, I don't even know how long, 30, 40 years. And you've probably seen it in hotels and building maintenance companies. They use these because not only do they offer great vacuum and are economical, but because instead of buying a vacuum that when it breaks, you just have to pretty much throw the vacuum away, with these you can replace any part on the vacuum. And because they're so durable, you're not going to need to replace parts very often. There's actually a couple different models of this vacuum. There's the 5 amp motor and the 7 amp motor. From the research that I've done, I don't see any advantages to the 7 amp motor. The 5 amp motor works perfect. And in addition to this one that we use for our janitorial accounts, you can see here where this is the same vacuum that I use when I pre-vacuum carpets for my carpet cleaning business. And we also have one at home. Now, I know the drawback for a lot of people is there's no onboard attachments, and I get that. But because I love this vacuum cleaner so much and they've been so durable, we actually have a separate vacuum. We have a Bissell vacuum at home that we have pets. We have 2 dogs. So we use that Bissell just for the onboard handheld attachment to clean the furniture. And they're really not shedders that bad, but they do shed a little bit. So we use that only for that purpose. But anytime we vacuum the floors, we use this. These vacuums are available in either a shakeout bag, where you don't have to buy any internal bags. There's this model, which has the internal bag in it. But it's also available in a dust cup model, where you don't have to buy any bags. The only reason I don't personally use the dust cup model is it's a little small, particularly for if you're doing commercial cleaning. You don't want to have to keep stopping to empty it. But really, the bags are not that big of a deal. They're very cheap, they're very common, and they're not hard to find at all. Generally, I buy my bags off of Amazon. If for some reason I'm out and I need to get some locally, they're available. Some Lowe's or Home Depot have them. Also, any vacuum cleaner shop are going to have these bags because they're so popular. One of the things I find is that when I'm pre-vacuuming on my carpet cleaning jobs, that a lot of people, they're very impressed by this vacuum. Now, they can't actually see the dirt that's being picked up simply because it's a bagged model, but they hear everything that this vacuum is vacuuming out of their carpet after they've already vacuumed, because probably 75% of the jobs that I do, they've been, or at least I've been told that they were pre-vacuumed. And some of them I know they were because the people were actually vacuuming when I was there. But when I come in and I vacuum with this, because I've pre-vacuumed almost every job, they'll hear the additional things that this is pulling out of the carpet, and they're very impressed. So a lot of my customers have went to this vacuum just for their carpets and rugs. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the vacuum over, and I'm going to pull the bottom off because it needs to be cleaned. I haven't cleaned this vacuum in probably 6 months or so, and I also need to work on the plug because the plug has been pulled out. But again, remember, this is a 6-year-old vacuum, and it gets used multiple times per week on thousands of square feet. So let me go ahead and turn this vacuum over, and I'll show you how easy it is to clean and replace parts. One thing about these vacuums is you are going to go through belts fairly regularly, but the good thing is they're very easy to replace. This cover right here has 2 clips right here, and all you have to do is unclip them and pull the plate off. And there you can access your brush roll and your belt. I just replaced this belt probably 3 days ago, so it's a new belt. But belt replacement is as simple as pulling out your brush roll and putting a new one on, putting it here, and replacing your brush roll. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but in here is the fan, and it spins right here, and it picks up tons of hair and lint and everything like that. So I have replaced this fan one time. Occasionally, if you pick up something like a heavy rock, it can chip some of the fins on the fan, but even so, I believe this one has a couple broken fins and it still works just fine. Now there are a few screws here and here which I'm going to take out. That way I can pull the cover off and access the parts that I need to clean. I did drop the one screw in there. It's no big deal. I'll be able to get that out when I turn it over. And on the top, you'll also need to take this screw out. It's a star head screw, but usually you can just use a flathead screwdriver in there to unscrew it. And this is just your height adjustment. It's a real simple system. Now you can remove the top cover and you can access your parts. And there is my missing screw. Okay, again, you can see it's a really simple setup. This is your motor. And this is kind of like just a shield, I think, to help keep dust and stuff from getting into the motor. And right here is your motor, your wire connections if you need to replace it. And if you need to replace the fan, you also can take these out and you just lift this assembly up and your fan's there. Now I'm going to do that next. Now again, I do have the proper bits for these somewhere, but I don't know where they're at, so I'm just going to use another smaller flathead screwdriver. Okay, now that you got your screws undone, you can just lift this plate up, but you want to be careful not to put too much pressure on your wires. If they do come loose, it's not that big of a deal. You can just reattach them, but it's better to just not have that happen to begin with. And here's your fan. And as you can see, I've got 2 broken teeth. Now I don't have one here with me to replace, and the vacuum is still working just fine. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and order one from Amazon when I order some bags, and that way I'll have it for when it does get broken or I need to do maintenance on it again. So really all I'm going to do is, you get a lot of hair and stuff wrapped around here. I'm just going to pull that off, because what can happen is if it gets off balance, you'll get a lot of vibration. And sometimes even the teeth being broken can make it vibrate and be a little louder than it normally is. Alright, that pretty much gets the hair and the fibers that were wrapped around it off. If you're wondering why I didn't use like a knife or a box cutter. Well, I actually have box cutters that are behind my my background here, and I really couldn't access them. And luckily, my wife does not watch my videos, because she wouldn't be very happy knowing that I used one of the bed sheets out in the shop as a backdrop, and now it has stains on it, so we're really not going to be able to use that anymore. But like I said, she doesn't watch my videos, so what she doesn't know won't hurt her. And last time I used the vacuum, I did notice that it was vibrating a little bit more and was a little bit louder than normal. So now that I know that these lobes have broken off and it needs to be replaced soon, it's not imperative, but soon, I'll go ahead and get that ordered. Now, one thing you can do is you can use an air compressor to just blow this stuff out. I'm not going to blow too much of it right here, because since I'm in my shop and it's kind of small, I don't want to be breathing a lot of that in. But really, that's about it as far as maintenance. You may have a switch that goes out, which is right here, and this is your on-off switch. Again, it's just 2 wires that you can follow right here. And it's really a simple thing to replace. I haven't had to do that, but much like everything else on the vacuum, it's really easy to replace. I'm gonna go ahead and take this to the door and blow it off real quick. So I got it a little bit cleaner. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put my screws back in. All right, now we can place our cover back on our motor. Another thing that I really like about this vacuum is the height adjustment system, which is this bar right here. And when the knob is on it, it sits like that. So as you turn the knob, it raises this bar either higher or lower. And the bar has the wheels on the end, so it's a real simple system that's not very likely to break. What you want to do is probably lift it up just a little bit to take some pressure off the wheels, so that you can get your height adjustment knob on there. When you tighten up this, it's probably not going to go all the way down. It'll just keep spinning, and that's what it's designed to do, so you don't lock down this knob. So I'm going to clean this stuff right here out. It's really not that much. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to blow out the edges of the brush roll, just to keep some of the dust and dirt from building up in there too much. Okay, so I went and I blew out the ends. And you'll always find that you're going to get some fibers and maybe hair and things like that in here. I'm not too worried about that. I think for most people, by the time that becomes a problem, the brush roll needs to be replaced anyway. And although this one's still in pretty good shape, I think when I order some bags and I get the new fan in, I'll probably go ahead and order a Vibra Groomer brush roll just to see if it's that much better. On each side of the vacuum, there's little slots. You can't really see it probably, but you'll notice on the edge, it's kind of pointed like an arrow. See, the arrow point is pointing up, and then there's a little notch at the bottom. When you replace the brush roll, you want the arrow to be pointing in the direction of the angled slots, and you want the little notch up towards you. And I'm also going to show you right now how to replace the belt. It's really simple, and there's even a diagram on here that tells you the direction of the belt. And I know it's hard to see on camera, but when you're looking at the bottom of the vacuum, it's real easy to see. So basically, you just wrap the belt around, you put the belt onto the middle of that, and then you line up your little notches. And it'll take a little force, but it's really not too bad. And that's it. That's as easy as it is to replace that belt. And if you were using this at home, the belt would probably last a really long time. I only replace this belt on the commercial accounts maybe every 2 months or so, and it gets a lot of use. And the one at home I've only replaced, I think, one time, and I've had that vacuum for a really long time. I believe I've only replaced the one that I keep in my trailer for carpet cleaning maybe 3 times over the whole time that I've had that vacuum. So, you know, I don't want it to sound like the belts are going to need to be replaced all the time. So after you're done with that, you can take your plate. There's a couple little tabs right here on the front. You just line up. Make sure your clips are out the way. Put that back on. Close your clips. And you are done. And that's all there is to it. If you're looking for a vacuum that's going to hold up well and be simple to replace and you don't have to throw it away every time it breaks, you might want to check into one of these. So if you're a carpet cleaner, or you have a home cleaning business, or janitorial or office cleaning, or even just a homeowner who wants a non-disposable vacuum, you might want to check into one of these. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.